Hey guys, it's Joy. As you guys all know, Tuesday was the season 5B premiere, and I watched it online the next day and on MTV. Wow, I felt all kinds of emotions that I didn't even know were possible. Well, I knew it was possible, but yeah, let's get into it. First things first, let's talk about Valak and Lydia and all that Icon House business. So, Valak has drilled a hole in Lydia's head to amplify her abilities, which was sad, creepy, and in a weird way cool because, she's already cool as it is, but to have her abilities amplified, it's cool in that way, disturbing in the rest of it. I did think it was interesting what Valak said to that creepy Icon House intern. All their interns are just so creepy. When he said that that pretty little thing could shatter your skull if someone decided how to teach her. She's already powerful as it is in her own right. So I thought that was really interesting to hear him say that and think, man, she could become so dangerous. I really want there to come a time when she meets another Banshee. Well, not just meets another Banshee, because she's already met a Banshee before. But I want her to be introduced to another Banshee that knows how to control her powers and can teach her how to use those powers. I'm also interested in seeing if it's possible for a Banshee to be a man. Technically in mythology, it's a wailing woman. A Banshee is a wailing woman. But I'm just curious if it is possible. It's not really important, but I just want to know. And apparently Theo let his sister die so he could be given a heart transplant so he could be a genetically altered chimera. Now, what I want to know, and what Valak wants to know, what everyone wants to know, is why. First of all, even if you really want, did he really want to be a werewolf that bad that he had his own sister killed so he could have her heart? If he really wanted to be a creature, special creature, he could have just waited a couple more years till he was a teenager and found a werewolf and had them bite him. There's plenty of alphas out there who would probably have been willing to do it. And two, why would the doctors be willing to use I'm gonna say sociopathic 10-year-old, because yeah, someone who'd be willing to let his own sister die. Why not someone else? What about him in that whole situation made him a failure? Maybe it had to do with the fact that he was willing to kill his own sister to become a genetically altered chimera. Maybe it has something to do with that in the heart or something. It's very possible, knowing Teen Wolf. Obviously, it all starts with him. I'm interested in seeing what the success is. They did not tell us what the success was, at least that we're aware of. I'm wondering if the success is someone we've already met. Part of me thinks it might be. Because let's be honest, if the success is someone we haven't met, it's someone else on that list. And by this point, the list of teenagers that have been altered because they've had a transplant is pretty small now. There's probably only a handful of people on there, and who knows, there may only be one name left. So either, so I'm thinking it's a possibility we've already seen this person. I think it would be really cool if they went that route and that person was right there in front of us. Theo's pack broke into Icon House, so I think we're now at that point where we're kind of caught up with around where the I guess you could say flash forwards were happening. So we're kind of chronologically back in order, I guess you could say. Theo's pack breaking into Icon House, that was really interesting. Why is Parrish so important to him? I think he knows Parrish is needed to stop the Dread Doctors. I think it's already been made abundantly clear that they're going to need him. Because, especially in the mid-season finale, when they show the picture of the Last Chimera, they show that the Chimera and then a fiery hound, almost like a hellhound, fighting it. So I think he knows it's important, because at this point, basically, it's a battle between the science and those who mess with nature and the supernatural, So the Last Chimera and the Hellhound are literally going to be the polar opposites of each other. I'm wondering if Lydia was communicating with Parrish, because, you know, Parrish had that, you know, that vision of her when he was in the car, her and him, and, you know, that's how he found her in the first place in the woods. And if she can communicate with Parrish, could she communicate with him while she's in Ikenhouse? That could actually give the team a really great advantage if she's able to do that when they go to try to break her out, because we know that they're going to try to break her out, and that Stiles is going to be the one to save her, which is going to be awesome. I also thought it was really interesting. Parrish was able to make it through Ikenhouse. So despite all of the protection Ikenhouse has against the supernatural, somehow he's able to break through. Like, if I'm correct, they also have Mount Ash and stuff. So I'm wondering if either he found a countermeasure or if hellhounds aren't affected by those things. I'm really interested in finding out about that. Next, we're going to switch over to the other characters of the show, starting with Scott. You know, he's dealing with his failure as team leader. And you can see that when he's looking in the mirror at his home and he's having trouble, he turns his eyes red and they go back to normal, and then he turns them back to red and they go back to normal. No, I don't think this is him losing his power, for those who may have freaked out about that. Because if it was him losing his power, one, he's still a werewolf, so he would go to be a beta. So his eyes would return yellow. First, I don't know if it's possible for a true alpha to lose their, like, alpha status. It's, from, like, a lack of leadership. It's probably possible, because that's where they get their, power anyways. But if it was a sense of him losing his alpha power, his eyes would have just turned yellow, I think. So it wasn't that for anyone who was freaking out about that possibility. I think it's more of just him having doubts himself, the knowing that he's failed, and also still wasn't fully healed yet. Like, there was a hole in his abdomen, like a hole like that in his abdomen from the fight the night before when Liam almost killed him during the supermoon. So between Supermoon Liam, and then the Wolfsbane, he's still kind of healing, and I think that also could have played a part in it. Stiles and Scott's fight in the hospital, I think everyone can say, was very emotional. I love how, you know, if he had wanted, Scott could have stopped him, and he didn't. Because in a way he blames himself as much as Stiles does blame him. He knows that there are things that happen that are his fault, and he made mistakes, and he shouldn't have. And then I loved a lot of Stiles' scenes in the hospital. Dylan O'Brien is an incredible, I mean, he's a great actor as it is, and he's great when it comes to comedy, and he does a lot of that. But here in season 5, and especially in this episode, we've been seeing a lot more him doing drama acting, and I don't think we've seen this much drama acting in a season from Dylan O'Brien since season 3, especially season 3B with Voight Stiles and then Nagitsune. I think it's very proper that there should be more drama acting from him this season, because you're seeing a lot of the more angry, almost type Voight Stiles personality with a lot of the dramatic acting. So it's really nice to see that parallel. And both seasons happen to be probably the most emotional and the most intense and dark seasons on the show, really. I was happy with the talk that Scott had with Stiles. Stiles is like, fine, you know, if you don't forgive me, fine, you know, if we're gonna always be like this, fine, but let's save your dad. And, you know, he mentioned to Stiles, you know, you trusted him too. As much as you didn't want to, as much as you said you didn't, and as much as you didn't, in a way you did, you let him in too. You let him get to you. He got to all of us, and he used every single one of us. And then he said, despite everything that's happened, despite the rift in between us, let's do this to save your dad. And, I mean, we've been through so much, and we survived, we got through it, we can get through this too. Mason and Liam found the Nemeton, and I really loved Mason's great idea that, you know, it takes a supernatural creature, and you've been looking with your human eyes, and, you know, they found it like that. That was such a cool moment. I'm hoping they're not going to be, you know, charged with murder, because they were with the bodies. My last few things, Liam's dad, is really suspicious. He knows something's up. He knows Melissa knows things. I'm thinking by the end of the season, Liam's dad is gonna know. He needs to know. He's gonna probably find out in the next couple episodes. I'd like Lydia's mom to have a more lengthy discussion with Lydia. It might take her a little while, but I think if she understood and knew more, other than the fact that, you know, there's something crazy going on and her daughter got hurt, I think she'd be more accepting. I think at this point, her issue is that she just knows something crazy is happening. It involves these teenagers, and her daughter got hurt twice. One time by the Canada, and now with her being in a catatonic state and being sent to Aiken House, where she sent Lydia's grandma. So again, I think that's someone else that probably by the end of the season is going to understand very well what's going on. JR is back as Daddy Argent. I was so excited. When I saw in the trailer that he was going to be back, I nearly peed and cried my pants. That's somewhere. I nearly peed my pants and cried. I was so happy. I really love JR and Daddy Argent, like, just an incredible character. So, if you guys have any theories or anything you want to talk about concerning the show, just, let me know in the comment section down below. I am more than happy to talk about it. I'd love to hear from you guys and hear what your thoughts are on the new episode and what you think is going to happen in the next episode. And, well, just during the rest of the season. So I hope you have a very good day, and I will see you later. Bye!